Nguye ine-dreads. Umuntu ibhruku ezinkulu nehlangu ezinkulu.
What?
Dreads ezinde. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it's amazing when I think about those things. The size that I used to wear.
A pants.
I used to, at high school, I was wearing like squid jeans, like size 34.
Was that your size?
No. I'm wearing size 34 now.
What?
Like size 34. We used to watch Ilando hip hop, so size 34.
Kono Maliki Yoba.
Malik Yoba. Even though there's an Malik Yoba is cool, yes, you take his heart.
Uthenga ngathi mthuqo wasingozi le. Is the light sufficient?
The light is good.
Huh?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So what changed?
No. You know,
What does he want?
generally, life is influenced by media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But in our era, the music that we're listening to at that time, compared to the music that are movies that they watch, movies that they were so deep. West Side. Abayazi no BP West Side.
I knew West Coast, LA, California,
But
Los Angeles.
yayithingane yakho i-theme. Monday, ngibe trompi ilento zipantsu.
No, that was my dream.
What was your
That's
dream?
my dream.
What was your dream?
So my dream was, you remember Sukula was like, we were working for the weekend. Like
Yeah.
you're dreaming just about the weekend.
Sure.
The week is just boring. Life happens on the weekend. So my dream was, I wanted to rock up one weekend, wearing like those like a nigger, you know, wearing like those baggy jeans and fubu and what, that bomber jacket with the bomber jacket, yeah. Then following weekend, fage Brentwood, Panzul, Brentwood, you know, Saxon, yeah, Pringle shirt, so I'm gonna wear Panzul, you know, it ties the Pringle, Panzul, yeah, well, what the Bambi, about it, then you made it to the Peter, Dalian, and Father the Brooklyn thing now, all Levi's, yeah, well, so that was my dream.
Hey, always different. I'm sorry, the only one who ever. So was the only one who thought of it. Like there was no one with Motherwell who thought of that combination.
Yeah, I mean for most people it was either Pantsula or my nigga.
You just choose one.
Yeah, you know, for me I wanted to be versatile.
Yes, it's amazing, the thing of your dream. I remember Uluyande, dream yake, it was like, he was fascinated about the All-Star. He wanted like, about when I start making money, I want to have all the All-Stars, orange, red and everything. I'll only be wearing All-Stars. Like, okay, but today is not.
You outgrow certain things.
Yeah, the exposure, your worldview is based on your environment at that time and also the
Yeah.
exposure at that time.
What did you want?
And I also had a dream for Christmas to have a Chuck Tail. So there was this Christmas. I won't say which year because they will know my age. So this Christmas I wanted an All-Star, right? So I used to call it a chance. So I wanted a chance. So my mother said, I'm gonna buy you a chance. So now So now this Christmas, you know, she came, she brought me shorts of some sort and a t-shirt of some sort. And then there was this box with the gents. So when I opened, it's not what I wanted. When you look at the shape was like this at the front. It had corners. So when I look at the name, I don't even know what the name of this thing is. It was like MILLE. So it was mile.
Oh yeah, I remember there was a mile.
So I didn't know what a mile is, you know, and I did not like the nose of the shoe. Yo, when I wore that thing, my friends on the streets, because I was wearing that thing. But I think the following Christmas, I tried to correct my mother. I showed her the shape of the shoe that I wanted. But now this time around, she again bought a wrong shoe. It was not an All-Star again. It's a fake, ne? So it's not branded. So it also usually has like a label here written All-Star and in the back. So mine was clean, no label.
This is the second attempt.
This is the second attempt, you know. So no label, nothing. So you know, Amajitekas used to guess almost, but like if it's not all, it means nobody can, you know. For can it means like zero. So when I was very like, so yeah, it was very, very terrible. But when it comes to clothes, my mother would buy me Dickies, would buy me Samsung.
Wait. Your mom will buy you Dickies?
Yes.
That thing, that brown thing?
No, I mean the shorts and the t-shirts.
Oh, I thought you were wearing the Dickies pants,
not the one
the
for
two-piece.
I know. But who was on War All-Star?
Nah, I wore Adidas. So, yeah, that thing. So in high school, I think I was doing standard 7. Yeah, standard 7. So I had friends. One of my friends, Uzingi. You know, his father was a school principal. His mom was a nurse. You know, so these guys were wearing brands. You know, Adidas, Nike. So this time, and the team now knew in these things, yeah. So this time, he already bought me like a pair of techies for what they call PT, physical training. So I had my nice white short, you know, and white t-shirt, and this techies, right? So it had everything like Adidas, but the name was not Adidas, it was Adibas. Yeah, well,
And you never.
I didn't know.
How many lines?
No, it had three.
Three.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
But it's just a name.
Yeah, they just.
My friend had Adidas that had 4 lines.
So what happened was, I mean, like those techies were comfortable, nice, like what? So and then I go to, you know, it's nice time to change.
Going to school, that feel good.
Yeah, I felt good,
Yeah.
you know. And then it's time to change. Then I changed. What? Put on my techies. Then it was like I'm walking on, you know.
Nice
Walking
feeling.
on water.
Yeah, it's like I'm walking on water, bruh. Yes, when I came to the guys, yeah, the guys just looked at my techies. They looked at each other. They looked at the techies. And everybody went, wow! Yo! I was like, what's wrong?
How did you feel?
Yeah, I was like, if this was not, yeah, I felt terrible.
You will never forget that feeling.
No, I can never.
And it happened like more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, you can't. And it's one of those things, you know, when I see my friend, I remind him, hey, do you remember? You know? Of course, when we were all kids, for them, they didn't really mean anything by that, you know?
Yeah.
But how that made me feel,
You'll never
there's
forget.
no way you can forget such.
I remember I had a similar case. So going to Queenstown in 2009, everybody knew I was coming from Cape Town, right? So they knew that me as this guy, you know, who really liked himself, you know, I had to dance and everything. So I was So like, obviously being this guy from Cape Town, you know, and I had already made a name for myself 2 weeks within school. So my mother goes to Cape Town this one weekend, and then and I asked her to please buy me some clothes. So because she didn't go actually like for buying clothes, that she went for her own work related issues. So she gave money to my grandmother to go buy me tracksuits. So my grandmother did not go to where she should have bought the tracksuits. She went to there's a place in Kapa called Parade.
Chinese shop.
Yeah. So she brought me tracksuits, you know. And I remember there's one tracksuit that I liked it. But I never recognized, like, there's something I didn't recognize. Because my mother came in with the clothes packed inside the suitcase, so didn't, you know. So I wore this tracksuit one day, and then and I'm this cool guy at school, you know. I was wearing earrings, stuff like that. I was a rebel in a way. So this day, I wore this Nike tracksuit, and I was dancing, all of these things. And then one of my friends, who had now passed away, came to me and he whispered and he said, "Look, my man, I think this Nike of yours is looking wrong way around." It's like, I'm not sure. But he was sincere. It was not like,
He's not sure.
he's not sure. Because this is not expected from me, like anybody else, but not me.
Yeah.
You know, I take off this thing. I look at it. I left it at school. So where the security guard was, there was like a guard house. I left that thing there. That day, I never wore it again. Because when I looked at it, like, this Nike, he's not looking this way. But you know, he then recognized the fact that I actually left it there, and then he took it out and he made fun of me with like other group of friends. They didn't show everyone, but like it was a smaller younger group, and I was the joke of the week. But it's funny, you know, it's funny how ever since that day, I would wear cheap clothes. I would rather wear something cheap than something that is fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I would rather wear something like I'll wear Pep or Jet.
Rather than wearing a fake brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll not wear.
You wear Pep or Jet.
Yeah. Like I would.
You don't come from the neighborhood.
What do you
You
mean?
don't come from the neighborhood. Pep is pep. Like. If you're wearing a cheap thing, they will make fun of you. Irrespective whether it's legit, if you're wearing something cheap, they will make fun of you. That's why you are some of the kids that come from the township. You are growing up. You are exposed to so many negativities. Even if at your parents they are not, they can't afford, but they must buy you at least. Even if it's once a year, they must buy you that original Nike, that Levi's,
It must be something.
instead of buying you cheap
Even if
clothes.
it's one.
Even if it's one.
Yeah, Tamsi, I used to put pressure on my mother for that. Just to get that one thing. Because, you know, you had friends who were wearing like brands. Like almost, like there were two guys who were twins. Those guys, they were wearing Jordans, they were wearing like every brand.
So there's a level of impatience.
Exactly.
But my question now is, do you think that has played a role into us as African people in not being able to go through the hardships to attain that which we want? For the sake of what society
Yeah.
thinks about us?
Yeah.
Do you think our hardship capacity is very small? Do you think it's maybe just about us Africans or black people in particular?
Well, if you look at like the movies in America, like black neighborhoods, we're very similar.
That's true.
We're very, very similar in the way we do stuff and what we celebrate and stuff like that. So as a result, look at us. I'll make an example with myself. Yes, growing up, you know, there was a lot that I wanted that I couldn't have, right? And what do you do when you get a piece of money, like a little bit of money? You know, the first thing you want to do is you want to buy stuff, you know, because you missed out back then on being celebrated because you're wearing the coolest, you know, and the newest brands and stuff like that. You missed out on that. So now as an adult, we know when you start making some money, what do you want to do, right? Even though you know better, right? Even though you know better that, you know, this pair of sneaker and this pair of sneaker together, it's more than 50,000 rand, right? So you know that that's foolishness. But then, you know, there's an inner longing that you want to satisfy. You know, that at one point I wanted nicer things in life, I could not get them. Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
I think you've used the word celebrated. It's not about the nicer things.
Yeah.
It's not about the brand. It's not about anything else. We are not motivated by the brands. We're not motivated by the weekends. We're not motivated by all these things. But the only thing that we're longing for is being celebrated.
Yes.
As a child, if you've never been celebrated at home, you'll always long for that.
Yeah.
And going out there, especially in township,
Yeah.
no one celebrates you.
Yeah.
When you go out there, it's a jungle. No one celebrates you. As a result, you want to stand out and be celebrated.
Yeah.
And we seek those things in wrong places.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like growing up, I was one of those kids, you know, if there were 10 boys in my neighborhood, I was probably going to be the ninth in terms of ranking, in terms of fighting, right? I would never be a racket, but there will always be at least one, you know, that I beat. But then, you know, stuff like that, you know, you get to a stage whereby you're like, you know, man, that's what made me go to karate. You know, I started learning karate because I was like, you know, I also want to be able to kick some butt, right? So, and as I trained karate and I started hitting them by one, you understand? And so that you get that thing now of wanting to be fearless, you
Yeah.
know? you want to show everybody that and that all stems from the fact that growing up in the neighborhoods like eKasi, you are celebrated if ungukhasacha, you understand? If unguphuma silwe, you understand?
Violent.
If you're violent, people celebrate you. You are respected. But if you are just a light DJ, I don't remember. I was telling you about my friend Ukaten. I did not like that boy when I was in high school. Why? He was just so quiet, so peaceful, so clean. Everything was orderly. He would greet people. I'm like, what kind of a boy is this?
Yeah.
You understand? Like he was right doing that. Do you understand? So he will tell you now, to look at the fact that sometimes you're not cognizant of the meaning of those things,
Yes.
right? He will tell you today that this guy, he used to abuse me. You understand? We're friends now, but he will tell you.
When that guy talks about Lonabo in high school, you could see the fear in his face. the Lonabo that when he talks about the Lonabo in high school, because there's one thing about people. Immediately when you talk about something, you quickly go there and experience that feeling at that time.
Yeah, thinking pictures.
Yes. But guess what? Because growing up in township, I remember my cousin was older than me. And if you've got an older brother, your older brother, the first thing that he will introduce you to, the first thing, he will organize fights for you. He's the older brother, he'll organize fights for you.
Yeah.
And he won't defend you when these guys beat you. So no, fight.
Once you graduate that, what does he introduce you next?
Scared.
Ladies.
That's the thing. That's a mentorship that we're exposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a result now, thanks for number that you have just mentioned that. That's why today, most of the people, whatever that they're doing, the guys, they think about
Girls.
dog. It's scared, it's weekend. Not because they want that. They are looking for that good feeling.
And I think we spoke about that during the week, right? Where we were saying that it's not that you get satisfaction if when you through multiple partners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In fact, the more you do it, the more void you feel.
You see, where we come from, it's another way of hiding your failures, right? For you to feel important, right?
Yeah.
So if you can fight, right?
Yes.
People will be afraid to talk about your failures. If you're good with girls, people will be afraid to talk about your failures because that's what you're good at. So you have to be able to fight so that you can defend yourself.
Well, no symbol of success.
Exactly.
The exposure, again, the mentorship, the father figure. Because in township, if you go to township, all the fathers, yes, something like that. Because they are not the role models.
Yeah.
The only role models that we have is those that we see on TV, and you know that everything that we see on TV is not real, it's fake.
Yeah. It's like, when I was in high school, I doubt there's any teacher right now in high school who would believe where I am today.
Same as me.
Because the life I was living in high school, right? Standard 6, I was just okay as a kid. But then standard 7, it's like I was open to the realities that one, okay, it seems like I'm not academically that, inclined, right? Number 2, I come from a poor family. I've literally got nothing that I can be celebrated. I was not a sporty child, so I had nothing to be celebrated, on. What's the next thing I resort to? The next thing I resort to is fights, right?
At least be celebrated for that.
Yeah, at least people must recognize me that, I'm the troublemaker in class.
So it's
right?
that craving of being important.
Yes, even if it's for the wrong reasons. So it's those things, right? And the unfortunate part is that we are fortunate to have recognized those things. That this is vanity. You understand? So this was not okay, right? But now imagine, I know a lot of friends I was with in high school who were mad like me, who were crazy like me, but they didn't grow out of that craziness. They took that to their workplace. They took that to their areas where they live, right? and some of them actually died still within, that space where they never really woke up, right? And realize that life is bigger than that, because there comes a time, someone once asked me, what's the one thing I would tell my younger self when I was in high school? One thing is that this is the trap young people get into, sometimes even as adults, right? And that is when I see my in the eye of my mind, right? When I see my 5 years from now, guess what's gonna happen? Everyone around me, I will see them in that picture.
Yeah.
Everyone around me now, right? People who matter to me now, I will see them in that picture. But in reality, it doesn't often happen like that in life, especially growing up as a kid. So, you are such a groupie, you are friends, you are either going to excel together or you're going to make fun together, and mess up, right? But only to realize that, I got a wake-up call after matric. I had failed my matric, no friends, that I would get into trouble with. Everyone is, in their own corner. Some could afford to go and repeat their matrics, and I couldn't, right? I was like, wow, so now I'm all alone, right? In this mess, but I was with friends back then. So if there's one thing, that I would tell myself back then is that, whatever friends you have here, they're not permanent. Whatever relationships you have, they're not permanent, right? Never make decisions based on the friends that you have right now.
Trying to be true.
You understand? It's trying to be true to them. You understand? Make decisions based on what you want. You understand? Not trying to fit in, not trying to be, the star of the group, whatever the case is, but make decisions based on what you truly want.
You know what you're saying? I was saying to Barry this morning, what do? You've got a boat. You are standing next to the river banks, and here comes this stranger, and this stranger wants to cross over the river and comes to you. The only way to cross the river is through you, because you've got the means of helping this person to cross over. Guess what that person's gonna do? Is gonna come to you and say that, Neo, can you help me, because I can see that you've got means of taking me across the river. You take that person across the river, because after the person has crossed the river, you continue with your journey. Guess what that person says? That, thank you, bye, and move on. Are you gonna be mad at that person? Now that I've helped you, now that I've taken you from where you were and to where you are today, the only thing that you could say is to thank you. Aren't you going to continue with me in this journey? Life is not like that. There are people that in your life that comes for a season. Yeah. Maybe they want something that, when people come to you, it's because they want something that they don't have. And at that time, it's something that you can offer them. You need to know, what do I have that I can offer these people? At this time, what's their immediate need for now? The immediate needs for those people for now, it doesn't mean that they will forever long for that thing. So that's what Lonobo is talking about, in terms of sometimes we tend to be too loyal.
Yeah.
Thinking that people are permanent, people will forever be with us.
It's to be loyal, instead of being loyal to a cause.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think sometimes as people, just generally, we never look at what is it that is putting us together.
Yes.
Because the glue between us is not personality. It's mission, it's vision. And when the vision and the purpose is no longer there, then it then produces the right reason for us to leave, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is very important when it comes to relationship management, because it's so difficult at times when a person comes in. You don't, first of all, and I think you mentioned this, right? I think in relationships, you meet each other at this level, you grow. You're no longer that same person right now. So if you're not growing concurrently, you won't be able to meet each other. And so sometimes you meet a person, they are desperate. They see you and think that you are God, and you give them what they want. Now, how do you then relate to that person now that they've got what they want? And I think that's one thing that really paralyzes a certain individual, is you're not creating capacity for, look, some people are not for you.
Let me say something like that now. Something that comes up now. Guess what? The guy that Lona grew up with in Njagazi, you're sorry for mentioning that street. Grew up in Njagazi. Now that Lonwabo has made it, came out of Njagazi, or Uzpakamisile doesn't want to be with us anymore. It's not about that. It's the mission that is going for. They are no longer part of where Lonwabo is going. Growing up, yes, Lonwabo was part of whatever that was happening because he had something to offer at that time. But now he's no longer have something to offer. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Tomzi, you remind me of the analogy that the other leader made on the other call that we had, Tom, when he said, you know, in the network marketing business, he takes himself as a bus driver, right? So when you're a bus driver, you're gonna move probably from Pretoria to Johannesburg, right? So there are people that are gonna get on the bus while you're driving, and then there are stops along the way where people are gonna get off. So this guy says, right, I'm a bus driver. I know my destination. I'm going to Johannesburg, right? So when someone comes in the bus, I don't know where they're going, right? So if they ask me to stop in Midrand, they want to get off, I need to make peace with that because those people, they have arrived where they were going,
Yes.
right? So I don't have to take it personal when they're getting off because they've arrived. So what do? I continue driving. Because now I'm going to meet another person that is going to get on the bus, right? That person probably is going to Johannesburg. That person is going to arrive with me in Johannesburg. So the moral of the story is that, you know, what you're saying, that when you grow, there are people that you're going to outgrow, right? Because, you know, you don't have the similar desires. You don't have the similar goals, you know. Some of them quickly arrived. You
Yes.
want to be a billionaire. You want to have 100 million. There are people just have 100,000 and they are cool and they're gonna stop building a business.
And it's
you know?
okay.
And it's okay. It's nothing wrong because they have arrived where they were going.
You know, there's a quote that says a business built on a business formed on friendship. A friendship formed by business is stronger than a business formed by friendship.
Yeah.
Right? And because if you and I were not friends, I mean, initially we were not friends, but we did a business and we saw that there was a common cause, and this common cause was not just profit, because the business that we function then goes beyond profit. It's not about the fact that we're going to split anything. It's now a fact that we are able to impact when we have this common thing. And the beautiful thing about that is that when you unite even on common mission, it's not about personality. So we may have a different personality. This is why
The cause.
it's not about, we're not like-minded. We are 4 different kinds of people. Right?
But
We're-
the cause.
But the cause is the same, and we're kept. So being united by a cause is much more stronger than being united by personality. And I see so many people who are stuck on personality. Oh, this is a good guy. Hey man, it's not about us being good guys here.
You don't have to tolerate me.
You know what I mean?
But the cause.
The cause, you know, and
And most of the people, that's where they fail.
I've seen them.
The ego, the personalities, they focus on those things.
Tamzi, I don't want to lie to you. I've seen this. I mean, I've grown up in a church, and I've seen people rise up to leadership because they were kind, but they were not for the cause.
Yeah.
They were good people. They were what you think you needed, but they were not because they were not for the cause.
They don't even understand the vision.
Exactly. Because I'm saying, I will fight with you for the vision.
Yes.
I will argue with you. We'll fight. No, because you know what I mean. But if I'm not for you, you can do what you want.
It's not personal.
It's not personal.
It's not personal.
You know, and a lot of people can't. I mean, I know people. When I came into this business, I'm not going to mention the person's name. One of the people that was young and also, you know, you could, and you know, okay, it didn't come. He found me here, but he was close to you. And this guy, he had a lot of potential of growing the business, but he always had this thing of, you know me, I don't want to leave my friends. I want this business. I want the success. Ish, other people in the, you know, people in the hood, I want to bring them up. The question is, do they share the same cause as you? And to be honest with you, not more than 6 months later, he went back to those people, and he was denied the fruits of success that could have come as a function of a cause.
Wow. So talking about the cause, so, you know, Barry mentioned something very profound. And I'm thinking now in terms of Kaizer Chiefs, right? He says, look, the mission, the cause, right? That's what you're about. And then he says, look, the mission and the cause will forever be there as long as you don't quit. You can have 1,000 people quit on you,
Yes.
but if you are still there, right, and committed to the cause,
Come on now.
the cause is still alive,
Come on now.
right? So now I'm thinking, think of Kaizer Chiefs. You know, how many, top star players who used to play for Kaizer Chiefs, they are gone, but Kaizer Chiefs still is there. You understand? So players, generation of players come and go, but Chiefs still stands. Why? Mission. You understand? So in us building the network marketing,
This is very deep.
so in us building the network marketing business, right? On the outside, it might just be, it's profit, it's making money and stuff like that. But anyone who's ever come close to us and really listened to our heart, they will know that it's beyond that.
It's a mission.
It's mission, I mean, we've given far more than what's ordinarily required. You understand? And not just in money, in time, in effort. You understand? In contribution, right, of any kind, because of the mission. You understand? And it's okay for that person to say, I'm getting off in this particular stop because this is my destination. I don't see myself going any further than this. You understand? So everyone can get off.
The bus has to continue.
If the bus, as long as the bus driver is still there and still continues to drive towards its destination, right? People can get in and get off and do whatever, but the mission remains, right? So here's the thing. The one thing that people should bear in mind is that never quit on yourself.
And the mission will always be tested.
Of course. If it can't be tested, then it can't be trusted.
I don't think I'll ever hear anything better than this week.
I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's okay to quit, but never quit on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you will stand alone and the history will judge you. And the generations after you will say, I won't say that, no, you don't understand. Those people didn't like me. But we are poor today because you quit on us. So the mission is bigger than us. Don't quit on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have no one but yourself to account to yourself.
Mission lives on. Mission lives on.
And I think a lot of us, welcome back, Pope. So, like what you're saying, Prof. Fox, is that a lot of, and this is it's so funny because through our journey, you'll find that your mission will always be tested, like through hardships and to check, are you still for your mission or not? And I've seen so many leaders, and I think it's not even that they forsaken their mission. Their mission was never there they never had a mission. It was profit, it was income, it was this. And so therefore, the only way they can keep and sustain an environment of people is if there's profit. And in the absence of profit,
everything crumbles.
Everything crumbles down, they crumble. And I think it's because it's easy to build based on profit, but it's difficult building on mission. But the lasting fruit, the testing of times, always comes within the confinement of the mission you've built. So for argument's sake, I know that Apple is not. Apple is not the highest paying company to people. I think Facebook is, and Facebook and Google. Facebook is. But if you ask people who work at Apple, will they ever leave Apple for any other environment? They'll say no, because they feel. I mean, the first thing Steve Jobs did, he came in and he introduced a culture where people could fully express themselves, where people were connected more to the cause than to what this thing will be able to do for in terms of revenue. They didn't talk in the revenue. You know, he spoke creativity, do something different, think out of the box, and he inspired at near different level. And that culture still remains in Apple today. People that don't want to leave, they're excited. People can't wait to go to work the following day. And so I think a lot of leaders, a lot of business owners just focused on profit, you know. But again, mission is not sustainable without profit. Right? So it's not just about creating what do you used to call that place where you when
A Kistin.
a kissed where you come into a kiss. No one's angry. Kissed. Everybody's high. Everybody's happy. There must be a difference. What that being said, there must be a difference between a kissed and a smoking zone and a business, right?
Yeah. See, again, this reminds me of the the analogy that Pierre likes to use, the cup, being the context, and then the content being, what goes in. I mean, profit is content, right? All the nice things, the traveling and it's content. But if the context, which is the cup, is not strong enough, it won't even be able to contain the very content you wanted to accumulate.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So context is very, very important.
So if you don't have a context, the same thing, people, they make money. What do they do with those profit? It's the same profit that ends up destroying them. Drinking, doing all the nasty things, because now they've got money, they can afford. But if you haven't worked on your being, that's why I always say that to people, if you don't know who you are and you don't know where you are going, guess what? Someone will come and tell you who you are and where you're supposed to go. Because that's what is happening mostly out there.
Yeah.
People, they don't know who they are. They flow with the flow. They flow with a good feeling. And then environment says, no, but deep down, you knew this is what I'm supposed to do. Some of the people, they quit business. Why? Because they wanted to spend time with emergence. They wanted their weekends. I still remember when we started with this crypto network marketing, 2016. There was no weekends. There was no midweek. There was no morning, there was no afternoon. I didn't even know what's a lunchtime, what's a breakfast. Like, we were working, we didn't know any holiday. Guess what? I remember we were working with these guys. They had weekends. Weekend, if you're gonna enjoy yourself on weekends, because we can start Friday, Saturday, Sunday, chances also Monday. You only wake up Tuesday and you've got Wednesday. Thursday, you are preparing for Friday. So how many days do you work? 3 days. Together with Lonwabo working 7 days, 24 hours a day. And I remember Lonwabo being married, man. He'll only go home at 9 o'clock every day. And even when he gets home, he has to do some work as well. He didn't have time to spend with his family. He didn't have time to have picnic dinners with his family. It was work. And I usually say to people, there is this thing that people are longing for. Good feelings comes with money. And to get money, you need to work hard. And most of the people, they say that, no, I want romance, I want this thing. I said that, I usually said, jokingly, I said that, okay, there are two things. It's either you're gonna get romance or money, which one do you want? Life doesn't provide everything that you want. You win some and you lose some.
So it's like you go to I think that analogy like using going to a lady in the township to go visit her. What do you bring her, roses or a packet of KFC?
And theoretically said that to be romantic, the romance bring a rose. You bring a rose and I show up after you with KFC because I've met the needs of that person.
Sure.
That's life. And most of the people, they think that life is all about being given the roses. Yes, it is that good feeling. You can take pictures with the roses and so forth and post them on social media. But it's so sweet.
Yeah. But I wanna go back to what we were sharing. That when there's a cause, right? Probably there are people that are gonna leave you, right? There are people that are gonna come join you and then leave you. But I want to understand like the kind of emotions that you go through when you're facing the challenges, the hardships, the disappointments, the rejections, all those kind of things. What does it take for you, to pull through those things, those disappointments, those rejections?
Let me say this. Let me underline. Success for your mission is hard. Like a lot of us, when we're talking about this, so before we even give how you get through it, let's describe for a couple of moments the intensity of the difficulty. Let's define the problem, because my man.
The reason why I'm asking this, I want each and every one of you to share your personal experience when you are alone in your room and you're thinking about what you want to achieve, and how do you feel when it's very, very difficult for you to move forward. I want you to go through those emotions.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah.
I think it was Steve Jobs who said it's important to. I know Grant Cardone says it's overrated. It's important to do something that you love and you enjoy. Right? Very important. Why? Because success is hard. Success is flipping hard. Okay? So unless it's something that you enjoy, that actually you derive some form of fulfillment, it's going to be easy for you to quit. At any given moment,
It must reach to you.
You will always have reasons to quit. Success is hard. It's difficult. It's not easy. You understand? But I think Vusi Tembagwai was talking about the curse of genius, right? You look at Usain Bolt running, it seems like he's doing it effortlessly. You understand? So as a result, when people see us have some form of success, people think these guys, it's either they got lucky or it's easy for them. You understand? So and it's not easy. It's just that person loves that. As a result, it doesn't matter how many times that person falls down, they will get up and continue going forward. You understand? Because it's something more than just the feeling and the feel good, and you understand? It's way beyond that, right? So success is hard. That's just number one. Anyone who becomes successful, exceeding yourself at anything, it's hard. Okay? But you have to do it hard. You understand? You have to do it hard. You have to pursue it hard. Up until it does get to a point whereby it's not as hard as it used to be. Do you understand? You will get to that point. It's not going to be hard until you die. You understand? It doesn't work that way, right? You do hit a certain realm, right, where things, just become easy. You understand? It's like this thing Zolan used to say about network marketing. He says in network marketing, you work, get paid. Work, get paid. But you get to a point where you work, get paid, work, get paid, work. And I said, where you're being rewarded far more than what the effort you're putting. But in the beginning, you'll actually be putting a lot more effort than what you're being rewarded for.
So in simple terms, before you go, Mr. Shaki, your struggles or your losses are more than your wins.
Definitely.
Yes.
You struggle more than you win.
Yes. Initially, for a season, right? Initially, you will definitely struggle. Definitely, right? And the struggle sometimes is not necessarily the business is hard. You understand? The market is hard. You understand? No. Sometimes the struggle is not that. Sometimes it's actually it's people backstabbing you understand? People that you've done good for, you understand? Turning around and you understand and repaying good for evil, you understand? You know, people that you went out of your way for, you understand, to try and help. So those are some of the hards, you understand? Sometimes the hard will be the market, you understand? But you know, most of the time, you know, that's why Mr. BD likes to think of, you know, EQ over IQ, you understand? Because it's all about EQ, right? If your emotional quotient is very, very low, you're not gonna make it in business. You're not gonna make it big in business, because it requires an enormous amount of emotional fortitude. You are going to be tested. You understand? You are going to be tested, right? And it's especially even more interesting in our case, because we are doing something that is new. You know, it's only been 10 years in existence. You know, so there's bound to be ups and downs. You understand? So there's bound, and most of the time, you know, when those ups and downs happen, guess what's going to happen? The people that you said to, that guys, there is gold here. You understand? When they are actually chowing the gold and enjoying everything is fine and hunky-dory. But then the minute, you know, there is a testing, there is a turbulence in the market, the price of Bitcoin goes down and everything, guess what happens? Now it's your thing, right? So when they were winning, they were owning up the wins. But when the market reacts the way it will, you understand, and things, you know, it's in between seasons, guess what happens? Now it's your thing. Yes, sir. So those are some of the challenges that you are definitely going to encounter.
Yeah, you know, like as you're saying, but Fox. So one of the battles, and just to give you my internal experience.
I want your personal.
So my internal experience is that whenever I hit a rut, because you see, one thing about your wins that I've learned recently: don't ever let your wins get your head, so that your losses also don't get your head. Because one of the things that when you win, you start telling yourself a different story to yourself. And then during the testing times is often met with the fact that the things you used to win at, now we are losing. If you remember the story of Peter, that guy was an astute fisherman. And this one night, this guy tries to fish and doesn't even catch a single fish. Something that he could do, closing his eyes.
Yeah.
Now he told the whole night. He never worked in his life where he had to toil the whole night. All of a sudden now he finds himself and he can't even catch one fish. Right? And so when you're at that moment in your life, you begin to ask yourself questions. Am I really meant for this? You know, am I really good enough? Do I even do this? Am I doing the right thing? So the battles that you fight is more of an internal battle. You question yourself, yes, like really, you know, like, So you enter into moments of despair, because you begin to look at the fact that, and this is where this whole thing of mission comes in. People leave, you ask yourself, you take it personally. So that's what happened to me. You know? Some people leave, I took it personal. Is it me? Am I not that good enough? Like if I was really that good enough, would they have left? Didn't I give enough? So you always look at it as a deficit from your side for the fact that why people leave and why things doesn't go wrong, you know. But forgetting that, number one, things won't always go the way you want them to go, so they have nothing to do with you personally. Number two, people will come and go not because of you, but because of who they are, right? So when things are difficult, I think the one thing that I have kept is to overcome, because overcoming is not this one day where you're like, I'm overcoming today. In fact, you'll have a lot of days, I'm not sure Prof. Fox, you can attest to this, you will have a lot of days where you will have a day of energy after a huge loss. You're like, I'm coming back now. Poof, you hit by another one. You're like, yo, I thought I was coming back. And then he's like, hey, let me go back up. Hit another one, boom. No. So it's as if, and then, but the one thing that you need to keep on doing when you're doing that time is just to keep on getting up. Like there's no secret in that.
Yeah.
It's not about feeling positive or being positive.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's just about, you know what, as crap as it feels, this whole thing of think positive, and like I learned that the whole hard way. Like that thing of false,
Ooh, I think that's the most difficult.
that false sense of don't feel what you're feeling right now. That you need to, because what that does is it puts you in a state of thing for you to go out there and do what you're supposed to do. You need to feel positive. And so in the absence of a good feeling, you can't do. No. Sometimes you're not going to feel good. You're grown up, as Tabzi would say. You're not going to feel good. No book is going to help you, no motive. You're going to listen to hours and hours of motivation and nothing is going to help you. But the only thing that's going to help you is just you just getting up there and doing what you don't feel like doing.
Do it while you're negative.
Yeah.
Do it. If the only way you can do things if you're positive, you're not good enough. The only true testing time comes if you can do it when you are negative.
Wow. Tabza, I also want to hear from your side when you face your own monsters when you are alone in your room, because obviously there's those moments for everyone.
Yeah. As you could see, I'm a happy person. I'm always happy. You'll never see me dropping my head. I'm always in public. I'm always this happy person, making jokes and everything because I'm working on my feeling. But for me, I think the society and my upbringing has trained me. I'm a failure. I've failed in life. I've been rejected in life. So to me, when I came across a failure, it's not something new. I've been there before. I've seen that movie before and I know how it ends. And I've been rejected. There are people that will come and be around me because they want something. And when there's nothing, they would leave. And I still remember that. I'll never forget. In primary, I used to be like position number 13 and I used to fail. And I was like immune in feeling the pain of failure. Because I categorize myself as a failure. To come out of that, I have to change an environment. I remember 2009, where I lost everything. I lost everything, money and everything. I had to go back home to my parents' house. And I still remember I used to buy airtime, 5 rand airtime, that 5 rand that thing. And the only thing that sustained me in that season, I couldn't make calls. And fortunately, there was that cheap thing called, I don't mix it or something for communication.
Yeah.
I was using that thing to communicate because I didn't have money. I only have buy data and all my friends have left me. No one wanted to be around me. And at that time, I've learned one thing. Whenever that you are going through challenges, don't go out there and pose as if everything is right. Take some time, retrieve yourself, and go to your solo time and do what you call introspection and work on yourself and work on your being. Because most of the people, they don't work on their being, even though that they know that I have failed, I don't feel good, and they'll go out there according to Neo and behave as if all is well. But knowing that they are lying, they're not feeling well.
Yeah.
But guess what? Every time I come out of that closet, I'll come out stronger.
Wow.
Even when people, let's say that they leave my business, they reject me, it's kind of like, it's okay. I will survive. I've survived worse thing before. I know what it means to be rejected. I know what it means to be a failure. So to me, it's nothing new. The only thing that I always say that this thing that Lonaba just shared, that one thing that I always remind myself, I'll never quit on myself.
Wow.
The only thing that keeps me going, I always say to people, I inherited a name that had no value. The only thing that I have is not what the materialistic things that I have, is the name. The only thing that I would leave when I die, when I exit this world, is the name. Not house, not properties, not cars, but I will leave the name. And I will know that even when my kids inherit my name, they will inherit a name that has a value. For me, it's all about my name.
Wow.
If you try to tamper with my name, I will fight tooth and nail with you. That's one thing that I will never allow someone to destroy. It's my name. You can destroy my business, you can destroy anything else that I own, but not my name. If you want to see me fighting, tamper with my name, and I will deal with you.
I think we watch a movie or something, but I think this is life generally, where certain names will open a door for you, and certain names will close the door. Like if you go and you say I'm ban from someone, certain people would open up their arms and welcome you because of the name, not because of you. But so as an individual, you should ask yourself, are you working on a name that's going to open doors, or are you working on a name, or is your name closing doors? And this is why even, the good book says a good name is better than silver and gold.
Yeah, no?
Yeah. So what Nell was talking about. So for me, I think it's kind of different, right? See, I love what I do. I don't associate. So for a lot of people, the word work they associate with something you run away from, something to be feared. Something you take a holiday from. You understand? I don't associate the word work with that. For me, work is contribution. For me, work is life. Right?
Yes.
Work is building something. You understand? So that's what I associate the word work with. So now, whenever you find yourself in a situation where there's a setback, there's failure, or whatever, you understand? Talking in the context of our business. Let's say now, business is down. You're not making as much money and stuff like that. My time in this space has taught me that that's gonna come.
Okay.
Right. So whenever I see that there's a drop in momentum, with subsequent to that a drop in income, I never associate that with me. Am I a failure? Am I what did I do wrong? Whatever the case is, right? So I know that business is cyclical. The only thing that gets me disappointed in myself is when I encountered that and I did not prepare well enough.
Okay.
It's like I should have known this was gonna come. You understand? I mean, this is like the third, or fourth, or fifth time that I'm experiencing this. You understand? This dip. So that's the only part for me that I get disappointed in myself. Like, come on, man, you can do better. You understand? You should have prepared for this, right? Knowing that it will come, right? And in fact, when it comes, you should actually be capitalizing on such a time, right? So that's the only thing. Otherwise, but I never get to self-doubt and say like, and whatever. In fact, when I do encounter a situation where there's people leaving, I'm a very loyal person, right? So I take things like that very, very personal. It's like the right thing to do is to say, you know what, you have arrived in mid-rank. Your stop is mid-rank.
Yeah.
You understand? Now you're getting off. Thank you very much. It was nice to have you in this journey. All the best. For your future travel. Right? That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Right? But being a human, it's not like that. It takes time for me to get there. You understand? Because it's like in my life, like for the longest of time, I've had lots of encounters where I share my life with people, sacrifice a lot, even when I didn't have nothing. Like staying in a shack, I would have 4 or 5 guys